using virtualized system. Now system virtualization and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. First KVM, that is called kernel based virtual machine. This is a full virtualization solution built into the standard Red Hat Enterprise Linux kernel, and it can run multiple unmodified Windows and Linux guest operating systems. This KVM hypervisor in Red Hat Enterprise Linux is managed with the libvirt API and utilities. For working it, we need some library files and APIs, so it uses libvirt API and utilities such as Virt Manager and PRSH. Since Red Hat Enterprise Linux is the foundation of Red Hat Enterprise virtualization and the Red Hat OpenStack platform, KVM is constant component across products of the Red Hat cloud infrastructure. So in Red Hat cloud infrastructure, basically the basic component is KVM. Now these are the different cloud platforms or cloud technologies we have in Red Hat. That is RHEL, then RHEVH. We have a private cloud in OpenStack. We have a public cloud also. Like if we are using a single machine, this is RHEL. So it works like our hardware storage, and this hardware part, over that we install the RHEL, our operating system, and on that we install the KVM virtualization, and in that we create the virtual machines, and in that we can install OS and applications. There is directly we have a virtualization platform like Zen Server or VMware. We have RHEV virtual in this RHEVH. This is what directly virtualized operating system we can say. Like it works directly on hypervisor hardware, and on that we can create these virtual machines, and it is managed by the RHEVM. It is what the manager, and it is the cloud form of this virtualized environment, where we can have a private cloud or we can have a public cloud. Private cloud is like RHEL OpenStack platform, which is on RHEL platform, and which is public cloud, that means which is working on directly open source OpenStack. This is RHEL OpenStack, and this is what RHEL. This is normal OpenStack. So it is called public cloud, or when we have a RHEL OpenStack, it is a private cloud. OpenStack is also a private cloud technology like Zen Server or VMware. Now KVM provides virtual machines technology across all Red Hat products, from a standalone physical instance of Red Hat Enterprise Linux up to the cloud OpenStack platform. Starting at the upper left corner of the previous figure. So if you see in this figure, so this is the first one, which is what the normal standard standalone machine. Now first, physical legacy system. This is Red Hat Enterprise Linux installation on legacy hardware provide KVM virtualization up to the physical limitation of single system, and are managed by the libvirt utilities such as Virtual Manager. And Red Hat Enterprise Linux instances may also be directly hosted at Red Hat certified cloud providers through Red Hat Cloud Access. And Red Hat Enterprise Linux is typically configured as a thick host, a system that supports VMs while also providing other local and network services, applications and management functions. Then in other side we have Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization, that is RHEV, supports KVM instance across multiple Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization hardwares, that is RHEV hypervisor. systems and provide KVM migration, redundancy, and high availability managed by the RHEV manager. Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization Hypervisor is the thin host, expertly minimize and tone version of the Red Hat Enterprise Linux dedicated to the singular purpose of provisioning and supporting guest VMs. This is what the classic operating system where we can install. It is also called what thick host, where we have to have an operating system which also manage its own services and also manages the virtualization. Where we other hand we have the RHVE virtualization hardware hypervisor, where we can install. It is also thin, that the OS layer of this RHVE is very thin, that it will not have any load like Zen server or VMware, and on that we can create the virtual machines, we can manage the virtual network, we can manage the storage, and even we can combine multiple RHVE hosts and create a single pool where we can share and migrate the virtual machines from one server to other server. Then we have OpenStack in public cloud. We have RHEL OpenStack platform, that is Red Hat private cloud architecture using the integrated and toned OpenStack on a Red Hat Enterprise Linux foundation with KVM, managed by either the Red Hat OpenStack dashboard, that is Horizon component, or by Red Hat CloudFox. Then we have other OpenStack in public cloud. OpenStack public cloud architecture implemented at Red Hat certified cloud providers and managed by either the OpenStack Horizon component or by Red Hat CloudForm. But it is open. Open means open source. Then also we can have hybrid cloud, where the Red CloudForm cloud management utilities manage and migrate KVM instances across Red Hat RHEV and OpenStack architecture, and transition KVM instances with third-party OpenStack and VMware platform, where we can manage it from VMware platform also. So these are the different technologies of KVM virtualization we have in Red Hat, which is we can have a single server virtualization, we can have a virtualized operating system of Red Hat, which is RHEV. We can use and we can create a pool of virtual machines where we can do migrate, storage and virtual migration, and also we can go for the cloud, where we have multiple servers working as a single host. So we have a private cloud and public cloud. Hybrid,
Excuse me, sir.
can transfer machines from. So configuring a Red Hat Enterprise Linux physical system as a virtualization host. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create virtualized server on our Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It is like we are installing it on a single server. Just like in Windows, what we do, in Windows Server we install Hyper-V, and on the Hyper-V we create the virtual machine. So here also we can do it here in our normal RHEL server. Now first we have to prepare the Red Hat Enterprise Linux system to become a virtualization host. Now requires checking from minimum system requirement and installing a choice of virtualization host packages. So first we need we need to check the recommended system requirement. Now first, one processor or hyper-threaded for the maximum number of virtualized CPUs in guest virtual machine, and one for the host. So if we are using one processor, we can go with it. Or we can go for hyper-threaded for the maximum number of virtualized CPUs in the guest and virtual machine, and one for the host. So if you have one processor with core, one processor core, or we have hyper threaded, which is hyperly multiple core we can use for the number of virtualized CPUs in guest operating system. Like we can add multiple CPUs in one machine, and one for we leave for the host. So for recommended system requirement, we need one processor core or hyper-threaded for maximum number of virtualized CPUs to give it to the guest machine. Like we can give we can create one virtual machine with 2 cores, 2 CPUs, 3 CPUs if we have hyper-threaded CPU, and one we need for the host. The host which is where we are installing and creating the virtual machines. Then 2 GB of RAM plus additional RAM for virtual machines. 2 GB of RAM at least for our real operating system, and additional RAM according to what our whatever machines we want to create. Now 6 GB of hard disk for the host, and plus the required disk space for each virtual machines. Most guest operating system requires at least 6 GB of disk space, but actual storage space requirement depends on each guest's image format. So it depends on the guest operating system that how many space we want of the hard disk. But for our host we need at least 6 GB. Then the KVM hypervisor requires either an Intel processor with the Intel VTX. This is a virtualization supported processor technology. Intel 64 extension for x86 based system, or if you are using AMD processor, then we need AMD processor with the AMD V and the AMD 64 extension. Now to verify that the host system hardware supports the correct extension, we have to view this file which is under process directory, proc directory, that is CPU info. In this file we can check the information about the CPU, where we can check what technology our CPU supports. Either our support is Intel, our processor is Intel, or AMD. It should support those technology for virtualization. Like Intel processor should support Intel VTX, or if our processor is AMD, then it should support AMD V. Now to check this thing, we have to check this file in our system. Let's see this. Now to check the technology, to check the processor, is it supporting the virtualization or not, I will use this command cat to check the file which is under pros CPU info. Now in this file, when you go to the file, you will see the information about your the whole information about your processor. What is the processor, vendor, company, model, name, and all that. It shows all the information, and here in the flag segment, it shows that what technologies it supports. It supports all these technologies. Now, among all these technologies, what we need is either it is Intel or AMD. If it is Intel, then it should be showing this flag, VMX flag. This VMX flag means Intel VT. It supports Intel VT. Now, if we are having a AMD processor, then it should support SVM. That is AMD V. So these two flags are there. Now we need to look that is there any of these flags are there. Either it is Intel flag or AMD flag for virtualization. So we need to check that is it supporting these two flags. Either it is Intel or VT, Intel or AMD. In this case, my processor is Intel, so it must support this one. to create virtual machines or to use it for virtualization. Otherwise I will not able to do this. I will not able to create the virtualization. Now how we will check this? We have to look for these all flags. Among these all flags we have to look for this particular name, VMX or even SVM for AMD CPU. Now how we'll do this? So we can look for it, we can check for it, or we can do grab, or we can do what? We can use grab command. We can use grab, then we can go for E. Now E for means I want to go for multiple search. Like I want to check this one, VMX pipe, and also I want to check SVM. That means I am checking two values at the same time, and that is I can do by using this E option, capital E. Then I will mention the file name, proc CPU info. So among all these output what we have seen here, it will go and look for these two values. Either the processor is Intel or AMD. If it is Intel, it will go for VMX, it will show, or if it is AMD, then it will show SVM. So when I press enter here, now it is not showing anything. Now why it is not showing anything? Why it is not showing any information, either Intel or VM? Now it is not showing, that means my processor does not support any of these technology, not even Intel VT and not AMD V. Now that means what? It is not supporting. So what is the problem here? Now the problem is I am using a virtual machine. This machine which I am using, it is actually a virtual machine itself. Now in the virtual machine, I want to create again a virtual machine. That is what it is called nested virtualization. Now that is not supported by default. Now if I want to install virtual machine inside this virtual machine, then I have to look for the technology which I am using for this virtual machine. So I am using VMware here. So if I see here, I am using VMware here. Now I am using VMware, and in the VMware I have created this virtual machine. Now VMware supports this nested virtualization. That means I can install virtual machine in the VMware, and in that VMware virtual machine, I can even install virtual machine in that. That means virtual machine inside virtual machine. So I can do that. It's supported in VMware. So if I want to do this, and that is why by default it is not enabled, and that is why it is not showing this technology supported in my virtual machine CPU. So if I want to do that, then I can do this by changing the setting of this virtual machine from VMware. So what I have to do, I have to go to the settings of this virtual machine, and from here I'll go to the processor, and here I have these options to enable virtualize Intel VT or AMD V. So I can select these two options to enable the virtualization for this virtual machine, for this particular virtual machine. Now for enabling this, I cannot enable until the machine is running. So for selecting these options, I have to shut down the machine first. First I have to shut down this virtual machine, then I can do this. So first I will do what? I will shut down this virtual machine, and then I will enable this. So I'll go here and I will say I want to shut down this. Now the machine is shut down. So I will go to virtual machine, edit, and I will go to processor, and now I can enable these virtualize options. Now what, my RAM is 4 GB, so if I need I can increase some RAM, not that one, I'll go with 4 GB. And now I will start my virtual machine again. Now this time when I check, it will show me that technology either as VMX or SVM. In this case it will show VMX because my machine is having Intel processor. So it is starting now. Now it is started. Okay, now it is running, and now I'm going to check this thing again. Now I'm going to use the grab command again. And now it is showing this, and it is highlighting it VMX. That means now my machine, my processor supports this Intel virtualization, that is Intel VT. That means what? Now I can do create virtual machine in this. So it is supported because I have enabled it in VMware, otherwise it is not supported. So if you don't see this, either of these VMX or SVM, that means you are not able to create virtualization. And if you see this, that means you can create it. So now we know that we can create a virtualization here. So what we can do now, we can go for installing the virtual machine, or we can go for creating the virtual machine. We can go for installing the kernel virtualization. Okay, now what we need for installing the virtual machine? We need some packages to be installed. So the packages which we need, the first is what we need is, I'm going to install with yum. It is Emo KVM and Emo images. Now these are already there sometime, like it is already installed. So mostly it is installed because we have selected lots of packages at the installation time of the installation. So this one is installed, otherwise we have to install it. This is for our KVM and images. Now we'll install some supporting libraries which we need. So for those I have this, I will install them from yum server. So these are what? First, Virg Manager. This is our graphical manager where we can manage our virtual machines. Through this we can manage the virtual machine. The command line manager is VRSH, that is already there, but this graphical one is not there. So we can install this one. Then we need libvirt. These are virtual libraries for our virtualization. Then we need libvirt Python. Then we need Python virtual instance, and also we need libvirt client. Now what these library files and what these are doing. First, this Python inst. Now what is this and what it do? So this provides the virtual install command, virtual install command for creating virtual machine. So this one gives you the command for installing the virtual machine through command line. Then the next one is libvirt. Now this libvirt provides the host and server libraries for interacting with hypervisor and host system, source system. So this is the main library files which gives you the ability to interact with your host and your hypervisor system. Then this libvirt Python. This libvirt Python contains a module to permit Python application to use the libvirt API. So this one contains the modules to connect between the applications of libvirt API. Then this this Virch Manager. Now this Virch Manager do what? It provides the virtual machine manager. This is graphical tool for administrating the VMs and using the libvirt client library as the management API. And this one client provides the client APIs and libraries for accessing the libvirt server, including the VRSH command line tool to manage and control the VM. So VRSH command, which we use to manage our virtual machine and server through command line. So these are the required files, required packages we need, and we can install them by using this yum server. Now, okay. So this is what it is going to be installed. So I will say yes, I need them, and it is installing them. Now it is all installed. Now what we need, we can go on to create virtual machines now. Now after installing this, now we can see how we can manage the virtual machines and create the virtual machines. Now first we have this command virsh. This is a command line tool which we can use to manage the virtual machine. This command line tool is an alternative to the graphical virtual manager application. It is just an alternative. Unprivileged users can use this VRSH in read-only mode or with root access for full administrative functionality. This VRSH command is ideal for scripting, virtualization, administration. So because of this this is command line tool, we can do what? We can use it for the scripting also. But this is a command line tool. For example, I want to see how many virtual machines are there. So I can give command VRSH list. Right now we have no machines, we have not created any machines. Then the other command line, other tool to manage the virtualization in our this Linux is Virch Manager, which is we have installed right now. Now this one is the graphical tool. This one is the graphical manager, and this is desktop tool allowing access to guest consoles and is used to perform virtual machines creation, migration, configuration and administrative tasks. Both local and remote hypervisors can be managed through a single interface. So either we can manage our local server or we can manage the other server also. The other tool, which is RHVEM, this is Red Hat Virtualized Environment Manager, Virtualized Enterprise Manager. This is what to manage. This one is to manage the virtualization. This virtualized manager provides the central management platform for physical and virtual resources. This is allowing virtual machines to be started, stopped, built and migrated between hosts. And this is also manage the storage and network components of a data center and provides the secure remote graphical guest console access. And this is used in what? The cloud. This is used in a cloud environment. Now what we need is, this is not here, we have not used this one, we have not installed this one. So what we can do, we can use this Virch Manager to manage our virtual machine or create a virtual machines. So if I want to create or manage the virtual machine, I will use this command and press enter, and it opens this virtual machine manager. Now this is just like a normal virtual machine manager. Like in Windows we see Hyper-V manager. This is our KVM manager. Now what we have here, the option to create a new virtual machine, and right now we are not having any virtual machine, so we can create one from here. We have option here to add connections, new virtual machines. We have option to edit the connection details and the virtual machine detail, delete virtual machines. We can go for the preferences, we can go for view, for the CPU status, host CPU status and other information. Right now we are not having any virtual machines. Let's say I want to create new virtual machine first. So what I will do, I will click on this create new virtual machine. Now here I am having an option to create. Choose how you would like to install the operating system, it is saying. So you have option to install the operating system through the ISO image or from your CD DVD drive, like your physical CD DVD drive of your real machine, the host. You can insert the DVD of your operating system and it will detect from there. Or even if you are having an ISO image of any operating system, then you can use it from there. Or you can install it from network also. Network from HTTP or FTP or NFS server, you can install your machine from there. Or you can use the Pixie boot. Pixie boot is your boot environment where you can create a server and you can boot your server, you can boot your virtual machine from your machine from there and install your machine from there. Now the other option is to import the existing disk image. That means if you have already installed the operating system previously and you have the hard disk, virtual disk of that machine, then you can import it from there and then you don't have to install it, you can just use your machine from there. Now I don't have either of these, so I'll go with this ISO or CD DVD. Now it is giving you option to locate your installation media, whether it is from your DVD or from your ISO image. Now it is not giving me option to select the DVD because actually I'm not having a DVD drive in my real machine. So that is why it is not giving me option to select this DVD. So I will go with this ISO image. So I will select the ISO image here for installing this machine. Okay, so for installing it, I have a ISO image on my desktop, and this is the image I have. So I'm going to use this ISO image for installing, for creating the virtual machine. So I will select image, and then I will browse the image which is on my desktop. So by default it is going to see the image here in this location, which is under where lib word images. So this is the default location. So default location, and it will create the virtual machine inside here also, inside this where directory. So basically all these database kind of directories goes into this where directory, database kind of services. So let's go to browse local. By default it looks for here, so I will say browse local, and here I will go to my desktop, and I have an image there. So I select this and open. And as I select my image, automatically it detects this operating system. It says the OS type is Linux and the version of the OS is this. So it detects automatically, because it is selected here, that automatically detect the operating system based on the installation media. Now if it is not detecting automatically, then we can remove this, and we can decide what operating system we have. Either we have Linux, Windows, or we have another other kind of generic operating system, and we can select what different operating system type we have. So if it is detecting automatically, then it is okay, and if it is not detecting, then we can remove the checkbox and select by ourselves manually. Then we go for the next thing. Now it is saying the emulator may not have search permission for this file. Do you want to correct this? I say yes. Now because it is not having a permission on this file, it is saying this. So make sure all the files you are mentioning here should have a permission to read at least this virtual manager. Okay, now next is what? How much RAM you want to give and how many CPUs you want to give. This is virtual CPUs, and this is the RAM which you want to give. So like choose memory and CPU settings. Let's say how much RAM we want to give. Like my machine, real machine is having 4 GB, so I can give up to 2 GB here. So I can go for 2048 here. How many CPUs I can go, but see I'm not able to increase, because right now my real machine is having only one CPU, so I'm not able to increase it. It is depending on the CPU which you are using. So this is what RAM and CPU I selected. Now next it is saying enable storage for this virtual machine. So create a disk image on the computer's hard drive. How much size it is? By default it is taking 9 GB, but available space in this is default location is 43 GB. So either we want, I can get extra space or whatever. Now by default it is not going to use the whole space. It is going to use only the space which is required. We can say allocate entire disk now. That means we can get all the disk right now, like whatever the disk is, 9 GB, 10 GB, whatever I give, it will use all the space right now. But this option is not available. It is saying this disk format is this, does not support the full allocation. So we can use only what it will use, what is required. Then if we have already the storage, we have already a virtual disk created previously, then we can choose this option and browse that disk and select the disk. But we have not created previously, we are creating right now, it's a new. So I will go with this create disk image in this computer hard disk, and again it is going to create under where directory. Like for example, if I say browse, it is taking me to that same location here. So it is going to get the image from there, and it is going to store this image which we are creating into the same directory. So for this, if you are working for the virtualization, you're creating virtual machines and your var directory must have a big space, otherwise you will stuck. Now or we should create a separate partition for var. Now what I'll go next, 9 GB is enough, or even I go for 10, and I'll go forward. Now what it is saying, ready to begin with the installation of this. Now this is going to be the machine name. If you don't like it, then you can change it. Then OS is this, installation is from the local CD, DVD or ISO, memory is this, CPU is this, storage is this. If you want to customize the configuration before installation, then you can select this, and when you finish it will open the property of your virtual machine. Or we can do it after this also, or you can select the network connection. If you want to configure the network for your virtual machine, then you can drop this. Now by default it is going for the virtual NAT default is NAT. If you want to change, then you can go for these other options like host device. It will directly connect your physical LAN card if your real machine, the host machine's LAN card, or you can specify the shared device name if you are having any. It is going to be used NAT, that means it's going to do the NATing between your virtual machine and your real machine. So I'm going with this default option. Now as I say finish, it will begin the installation. Otherwise we can configure it first. So okay, let's begin the installation first. Now it has opened this terminal for the virtual machine, and in the background you can see the virtual machine name and it is running. And this is the installation options we have. So we can choose options what we want to install. So let's say I want to install this. You can install Windows, you can install Linux, you can install any other Linux operating system. It supports lots of things, lots of operating systems. Now you just have to follow the installation steps and complete the installation, and your machine will be ready. So the installation steps are these, like let me increase it a bit. So select the language and all. And continue. Then date and time, keyboard setting, like I selected the time zone, keyboard layout, language support, policy. Then you select the installation media, software selection. Software selection I'm going with minimum so that it will install quickly. Then kernel dump is enable. Then you want you want to configure your network, so you can configure the network also, or you can configure this installation. So I'm going with the automatic configuration of partition, so I'm not creating default. I want quickly it should be installed. So all the options select according to your requirement and then go to begin the installation. And then the rest of the configurations are here, like changing the password for root. And creating the normal user. Now the installation is going on and it will take a little time to install. And after the installation is finished, our virtual machine is ready. Either you choose graphical or command line. I have choose the command line version so that it will install quickly, but still it will take some time. Till it is installing, we can see what options we have here. uh, we have first this option to show the graphical console. This is what we are seeing here. And if we want to see the settings of the virtual machine, details of the virtual machine, we can click on here, and it shows the overall detail of our virtual machine, and we can configure it. Overview is this, like it is saying the name, UUID, whether it is running or not running. You can add titles, descriptions. This is your hypervisor detail. Emulator is this QEMU emulator. Then you have firmware, BIOS, chipset version. Now if you go for performance, it shows the performance also, like what is it, how much CPU it is using, how much RAM it is using, and all that. Then you can check the processor, how much processor we have, configurations we have, topology, pinning. Then you have memory information, what is the current allocation, maximum allocation. Then we can go for the boot options, like it is going to boot from which CD, DVD, virtual disk or network. Start virtual machine on host boot up, like auto start feature. This is auto start feature, like whenever our real host starts, this virtual machine will also start. We can go for direct kernel boot also, enable kernel boot, where we can give a path of the kernel where it will start the kernel from there. Virtual disk, this is our hard disk information, and you can see it is storing into the same location with this option. Device type, and this is the extension of the virtual disk, QCOW2. Device type, storage, exist read only, shareable, and some advanced options. This is the format of our storage. We can go for RAW, we can go for Q8. These are different formats. We can go for performance options, default, input output tuning. We can tune it, like how much KB per second we need to read, write, and all that. We can also decide that. This is CD-ROM option. Then we have network option. Then we have tablet option here. If it is EV touch, if it is touch supported tablet you have, then it will support that also. You have mouse, keyboard, display specifications. Then we have sound, serial port, channel spacing specification, video controller, USB controller, PCI controller, IDE controller, virtual input output serial, USB redirector. So all the informations we have, and even we can add new hardware also. So if you like to add some hardware, then you can add it like this. You can add storage, you can add other controllers like SATA, iSCSI or something. You can add network cards, you can add graphics, you can add all these other devices also. Back to the graphical one, it is still installing. Then we have here option to play or start the virtual machine. It is already running, so I can pause it, I can pause my virtual machine, and I can stop my virtual machine. That is what shutdown. It will shut down the virtual machine. Then you have option here also to reboot, shutdown, force reset, or force off. Normal shutdown, that means it will try to shut down the machine normally, like you have shut down it from the start run. You have shut down it from like this, like we shut down it from here. And force off, that means it will directly cutting the power. It is like cutting the power directly. Same reboot will be normal reboot, and force reset, that means resetting the machine, like hard reset. Then you have this save option where you can save the state of your real machine, virtual machine. Then manage the VM snapshots. You can take the snapshot, you can manage the snapshots also. Right now we don't have any snapshots. We can take the snapshot from here. Create a new snapshot. snapshots are like a snapshot of your working real machine. So it is still installing and it is going to install very quickly. Now here you have options like view the manager. Manager is like it is in background. This is our manager, which is showing that this machine is running. It shows the CPU performance also, and this is to close or quit. And then we have option to virtual machine managing, like running, view, pause, shut down. We have option to clone the virtual machine. We can migrate the virtual machine. We can delete the virtual machine. We can take the screenshot. We can take the screenshot. A screenshot is not a snapshot. It is like taking a screenshot of your virtual machine window, or we can say the desktop. We can do the redirection of the desktop USB. Then we have view options. We have different view options there. This is console view. We can go for detail view. We can go for snapshot view. Detail view is like this. This is the detail view of our virtual machine. This is the console view, and this is for the snapshot view. Then we can go for full screen. We can make it full screen. We can resize the VM, resize to virtual machine. We can scale the display only when full screen, never auto resize. We can extend text console. We can go for text console, and toolbar is already showing. And these are the special key we have, like Control Alt backspace. We can send Control Alt delete. We can send these options to our virtual machine. We can send this key, Alt Control F1, to change the terminals. We can print the screen also. So these are the options of this, and here also we have option to make it full screen. So these are the options we have, and now it is about to install. So let's see. First, let it install. So this installation is almost done. It is saying performing the post
Mr. Taki,
task. So it is almost done. It will take little time. Till then, I will show you that vrsh command also. So this vrsh command, we can use it to manage and just manage some things for our virtual machines. Now you see, when I list, it shows the name of that virtual machine which is running, RHEL 7.1. If we have all other machines, we can go for list all, which will show you all the machines which is running. Right now we have only one. Now if you want to stop those machines or force shut down those machines, then you can do this vrsh destroy, and then you can mention the name of that virtual machine, RHEL like 7.1. Now I'm not going to destroy this because it is installing. It is still installing. And if we want to stop it, if you want to start it again, then we can give command vrsh start RHEL, the name of that virtual machine, RHEL 7.1. So these are the normal commands we do, normal things we can do, but there are some other commands also which we can use to manage this virtual machine with this vrsh command. And these are those other commands we have. We can do cloning, we can do creating, we can do lots of things of these virtual machines. So we can manage these things by attaching the devices. We can attach disk, attach interface, we can set the auto start option, we can do all these things. We can get the console of that virtual machine console, connect to the guest console. That means when the machine is running, we can directly access the console of that virtual machine by using this console command. We can connect the console. We can use this connect command. We can use this console to connect the serial port from the serial port. So we have these all other information. Like I want to see the node info. Now node info means the node, that means the real host. It is showing the information about my real host. What is the information, what is the model, what is how many CPUs I have, sockets, core, thread, memory size. It is about my host machine. So just like that, we have other commands also. We can reboot our virtual machine, we can restart, we can take a screenshot, we can edit these virtual machine configurations, we can define the domain name, we can create machine, we can create domain, we can connect. So it is still installing and it will take a little more time. Okay. Now it is completed, so I'm going to reboot it. So the installation is complete and it is rebooting. And it will go for some license agreement and all that. Now this machine is ready. I can log in, and because I use the minimal installation, it is a command line version and it is running now. Now it is running, so I can go here and I can choose this command to check. So this machine is running. So if I want to now destroy it, so I can run this command to destroy. That means to shut down. RHEL 7.1, the name of the machine, and it is now saying destroyed. When I check the list, now it says it is shut down, shut off. When you check here, you can see that it is just not running because it is shut down. And if you want to start this machine again, then you can run this. Start command. Now it is saying started, and when you check here, it is starting. So we can manage it from vrsh command and from some extent, and also we can manage it from here. From our virtual machine manager. This is our virtual machine manager. Where we can manage the machine, we can create new, we can open the existing machine, we can play, we can run, we can pause, we can shut down, or we can do reboot and all these things. We can do add connection, new virtual machines, we can edit the connection detail, merge a virtual machine detail, and we can add the performance. We can delete the virtual machines also. We can see the graph of the virtual devices also. we can go for the preference of our VMware, this virtual machine manager. Enable the system tray, we can go for the pooling of our CPU, we can go for the new virtual machine settings, what type of sound we need, graphic type we need USB type, what type of storage format we need, what type of CPU modeling we need. We can go for the console also option, how we can change, how we can go for the full screen, resize, keystrokes, force console shortcut. We can go for the feedback option also. So this is how we can manage it from here, and also we can manage it from command line. So this is how we can create virtual machine, stop virtual machine, and manage it. And we can install new virtual machines in our RHEL distribution.